Hey guys, this is Glenn here. So I promised y'all a follow-up after I tried this. So something I didn't actually mention when I threw out the idea the first time was that the brand that I went with, and I'll put a link to it or whatever, it's a Vikofan 28-inch double claw. They don't swivel. Most of the other ones have a swivel built in the top. These don't swivel. They did have a lot of slap on them, so I put some washers in. This is a temporary setup till I get everything all dialed in. But as you can see, there's not a whole lot of swivel in it, and that helps two different ways. Well, the main thing is it keeps it lined up when you're trying to drop down on the logs, and the other thing too is it keeps it from moving around. And they also didn't mention that I was going to use two instead of one. And a lot of you are right. Even with one, if you don't get it completely centered, it's going to move around. And it did. And I tried it with one, and it did, which I kind of figured it would. I don't have a quick disconnect from my bucket, but all I have is 4 pins to take it off. So I run without the bucket a lot because it's really heavy. But anyway, I got these on here. And I got, like I said, I did a couple modifications, and I'm testing this to see how it works. Like I said, put some washers in here to take the slack out of the area here and here also. And on this one's kind of a funky setup they had from the factory. I don't like, but I need another washer on this side that I got to get. And this right now, I've got these cords on here. These are also temporary. I will probably, if this all works out, go to a stainless steel braided cord with a T-handle and a mount up at the top, so I can just grab the T-handle and pull it. So excuse my loud tractor. I've got the exhaust off because my roof is too high to clear the exhaust on my entryway. So I'm gonna have to do something about my muffler. Anyway, let's see how it goes. Okay, so you gotta get lined up pretty good on it, on the log. I'm thinking about putting a bar between the two of them so they kind of stay motioned together. Sometimes I get real lucky, and of course this is the first time I've done it with both of them, so that made it a little harder for me using 2 claws instead of 1. And you also got one end is bigger than the other, so that kind of mixes things up a little bit too. As you can see, sometimes getting it to drop down is not the easiest, but usually goes down pretty quick. And some people complain about these not being sharp enough, and you had to hammer them in to get them to hold. I have not had that issue with any of the ones I picked up so far, and I picked up maybe 20 times, and never ever have they not held. And you'll see later on towards the end, I pick up a larger one, and I did have to have my wife help me get the claws over it because it is a fairly large log, and it was pinned between 2 other logs, so that didn't make things easy. But yeah, like I said, I'm just showing here, picking it up, setting it down, see how easy it is. And the cords that I used for trying to open them did not work real well. Part of it was because they didn't have a way, well, for one thing, they're nylon cords, so they stretch. And I didn't have a way to hold them once I got them open. Because once you get them open, then I couldn't hit trying to hold 2 of them and do my lift at the same time. So that was kind of a pain in the butt. But like I said, I messed around with that, and I played around after this video and came up with some new ideas. I have 2 other cylinders that you'll see hanging there, and it finally dawned on me, like, hey, let's try and incorporate those 2 cylinders into the declawing part of it, something to open them up. and I think I've got that figured out. So
I'm for sure you're gonna figure it
yeah,
out.
my wife helped me. She sat on the tractor and opened and closed it, or up and down with it. And yes, I do have, of course, one of the reasons I'm making this is for the guys with the sawmill. Um, and I do, like I said, it's not that bad. And a lot of people likes to complain about it, and I think maybe too, a lot of people complaining because they were using one or a single claw. And like I said, the brand that I use is Vikofan.
I think even if you're alone, you don't take more than seconds. It's not and pick up the log.
Yeah, it's not
It's not
not
so
that
hard.
time consuming. Like I said, this one is Vikofan, and this is a 28-inch um, or yeah, they call it 4 claw. But this one doesn't have the swivel at the top of it. All the ones I looked at had the swivel, and I knew immediately buying one of those with the swivel, I was going to have to weld it because it just doesn't make sense. Um, especially if you're trying to do it by yourself, you pull up on a log. I mean, that thing gets turned halfway around, and at least with mine, like I said, put a bunch of washers and stacked here and there, and got it so that they stay pretty even. They don't swing around a lot. Got lucky on that one. But like I said, and these are real. This is a real time video, so you're seeing what I had to go through. So this log here is the largest that I mill. This is 25 inches on the fat side and about 20 inches on the small side. And I did, like I said, I did have to have my wife had to help me line the claws up to go on it. She didn't do anything else except for line them up, and I dropped the claws. And when I did, I mean, that thing, it really sticks into it. I was surprised.
Well, the thing is, wasn't 2 or 3 logs.
Yeah, I was reaching over 2 logs to pull it out of the stack, and like I said, so there was a log on both sides of it, which made it harder to get to drop down onto the log and get a bite onto it. But like I said, and she didn't have to do anything but line it up for me, and I got it down on it and dropped down, picked it right up, just what you saw there in the video. So, like I said, that is probably about the biggest log I will mill. I think that is probably, yeah. I've had a couple, maybe a little bit. I don't think I've ever had anything over 24, 25 inches on the fat side. All right. Thanks. I appreciate everybody. Let me know what you think.